Okay. And action.
Breakups. Who are they for? Why do we hate them?
If we wanted to do something really clickbaity, the breakup video. Oh. You're thinking for the thumbnail?
Yeah.
He's not wearing any pants.
Yeah. I'll have a leg up on the table.
All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm here with Kaleb. It's been so long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good to be back. I'm Jesus now. So
Yes.
Good to be here.
He's got the scruff to prove it.
That's right.
So we want to start our podcast style videos, mostly because I am doing my master's right now and I don't have a bunch of time to be editing. So we just want to do it in a take, have minimal editing and put it out there. So, and I want to talk about LGBTQ related things, but these are honestly applicable to anyone. Because today we're talking about breakups. In preparation for this video, I actually talked to a lot of my friends about breakups, and I also looked up videos about breakups. I did my research because I know that we're not psychiatrists or psychologists. You definitely, some people need, professional help, and YouTube isn't going to do it. But we can definitely speak off of our own experiences, and the experiences of people that we've talked to. So
take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly, yeah.
Because we're just two gay boys sitting in a kitchen right now.
Also, therapy works if you need therapy because of traumatic experiences in a relationship.
Everybody should go to therapy. Yeah. Period.
Yeah. So do you prefer breaking up with somebody or being broken up with?
I probably breaking up with somebody.
Yeah.
It's a little more cold, I feel like, than when it's so abrupt. If you're not seeing it coming, then it can really take the wind out of your sails. But if you're the one planning it, you see it coming, you know?
I feel like I feel very similarly, or at least I did. I talked to one of my friends and she was bringing up why she preferred being broken up with. And I don't think she was saying it in I get
to be the victim.
I get to be the, I don't know, that kind of a way. Her reasoning actually made a lot of sense. So she was saying, if you're the one being broken up with, you don't have to worry about if you made the right decision. You don't have to worry. There's less what ifs in that way. So it's a lot of times, and I know what she's saying because I've broken up with somebody before and you'll think what if I shouldn't have done it?
Yeah.
What if this, what if that? If somebody else breaks up with you, in some ways it's easier because you can wash your hands of it and you're it wasn't my decision.
True.
I can move on kind of thing. So I can see that perspective.
It depends on the level and investment too, of the relationship you're at. But
sometimes the shock of being broken up with is going to be worse anyways than the what ifs later.
Exactly. It's like a deer in the headlights moment.
But you can't have that mentality of the what ifs because everyone's, if it was meant to be, if it should have been, it would have been.
Yeah.
You can't live like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about all the what ifs too much, you're going to be tearing yourself up after every breakup.
Yeah. Because there's just no real soulmate, Yeah. There's just a lot of good matches. Even if it doesn't feel like there are, they're out there. Yeah. And once you find them, it's not just rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work and stuff, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I heard something I really liked once where somebody was saying that we create our own soulmates. So it's something that it's not like there's one person in the world for you that, could live on the other side of the world. It's you create your soulmate when you choose them and choose to love them every day,
Exactly.
So if you're the one that's deciding whether or not to break up, I think it's important to talk to a friend that is a real friend that's not just going to tell you what you want to hear, but be honest with you about the situation, and maybe they can help you learn if you need to take a step back or if you do need to get out of the relationship kind of a thing. So I don't know. It's hard because I truly do feel that that is an indication of whether you have a real friend or not. If you're with somebody that is telling you exactly what you want to hear and telling you that you're always in the right, they might not have your best interests.
Yeah, just like people pleaser.
Yeah.
But not what's, good for you.
Totally. And then as far as like during the breakup.
When is the appropriate time to call them after? Just kidding.
When is the appropriate time to call?
How long do you wait? 5 minutes? 2 days? Yeah.
That's another thing that I feel like is important though, is not like, so the
don't
thing
give
is,
in.
Yeah. So the thing is like, it's good to be on good terms with your ex.
Yes.
I think that that's so good in so many ways. Because I think it also helps feed the mentality that like, it wasn't a complete waste of time. Because I feel like a lot of people think that about previous relationships, even though no matter how bad a relationship was, there's definitely things that you had to learn. And there are ways that maybe you've grown. And maybe there are exceptions with like super abusive relationships. But for most people, there were good times. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been together. Yeah. So if you're able to like remember the good times, but also remember why you broke up with them, why that was important, I think that's the healthiest exit.
That's the hard part, is usually the brain just remembers the good times. Yeah. And that's when you start getting the, oh no, I should call him or her, you know. You're like, oh, it wasn't that bad, you know. It was, we had so many good times. But it's to remember those bad times, or to remember why you had to move on, or why it is what it is now. And that's hard, but it's very important to keep in mind.
Yeah. I had a relationship with somebody where we had broken up and gone back together a few times. And the last time that we broke up, I had to write down in the notes in my phone the reasons why the breakup was important. And have that reminder for when I was questioning the what ifs, you know?
I had a breakup where I was basically broken up with. I was chasing the person, and I couldn't help myself. I felt like I texted, you know. I didn't have my self-control and remember why we were getting to that point. So I had to delete him off of my phone, and then that was healthy for me because that's just what I needed to get past that. And you know, hopefully you don't have to get in that, but there is a line where you do need to put your stiff arm a little bit and say, this is my line, you know?
Yeah. You gotta create the boundaries for sure.
Yeah.
Because I will say the times where I haven't cut off somebody and I've never completely cut off somebody and said, don't ever talk to me again. Yeah. But you have to give each other that space where it's like, and sometimes you do need to do that as well, where you're like, do not contact me again.
Yeah. I get that. Or if I don't have the self-control in that situation.
Yeah. You know? So I will say the times when where I didn't cut off communication, we ended up getting back together. So I get that like some people talk about how they're able to be friends. For myself, I can be like positive acquaintances, but I can't be reaching out with the person like every day. Otherwise, it will start to be me questioning like, did I do the right thing? And I don't know. I just feel like for myself, the boundary is I need to stop talking to that person.
Yeah.
And at times, even stop talking to some of our mutual, like, somebody, if let's say you're really close to your ex's big brother, it is healthy sometimes to create some distance there as well. Otherwise, it's going to bring in those memories if you're hanging out with the, you know,
or a friend group, If they're always there, you know, then that's hard.
And the thing is, it is important after a breakup to like fill your life with with people that love you and things that you enjoy doing.
Yep.
Because it is, I mean, part of the healing process is letting yourself grieve the relationship.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at some point, you need to like make sure you're doing the things you love, and you need to be in contact with the people who love you.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a difference between distracting yourself after a breakup and actually filling your time with productive, like fun things that are, because I feel like there is, sometimes people get those confused and they'll just be trying to distract themselves from the breakup instead of like actually filling their time with things that they love, hobbies that they enjoy, and people that care about them.
A Tamagotchi or The Sims probably isn't a good replacement.
Yeah. I think another important thing to note is that it's okay to feel however you're feeling after a breakup. Mm-hmm. There have been times after a breakup where I'd get mad at myself for feeling away, you know? Yeah. But it's normal to like really miss somebody. Mm-hmm. And when those waves come, it's important to know that they'll happen less and less. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes years and years and years, but like, but just know that like when those waves come, it's going to be less and less. What do you want? We've got little Brutus growling at me.
Got a jealous puppy.
So yeah, let's see. It's okay. Just know that it's totally okay for you to let yourself feel what you're feeling throughout the whole breakup process.
Yep.
It's part of the healing. Let your hair down.
Go out there. Get that car.
Dye your hair blonde.
Yeah.
Shave your head.
Shave your head.
Get that BBL.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right. I just think it's important to note, going back to like the what ifs when you're after a breakup, when you're worried about like, what if I could have done better?
Yeah.
I think it's important to know that you did the best that you could at the time. Like, and you have to let go of that.
Yeah.
Just recognize you were doing the best you could at the time it happened, and you need to let go.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like also letting go of somebody, if it's meant to be, they will come back into your life. But your job is to focus on moving on and moving forward. You know what I mean?
I think we're a great example of that. You know, sometimes you guys meet at a specific time in your lives and things don't work out and you have to go your different ways. You grow up, you go do your thing, they go do their thing, you come back, and maybe it works the next time, you know, but it's not like we sat there and waited for each other either.
Exactly.
You know, we were like, oh, this probably isn't it. We went our separate ways. This was in 2018.
Yeah.
And we made our way back to each other, different people, and ready to roll.
Yeah. And it's, you're spot on though. Like we'd probably been dating for like a month and a half. I think it wasn't that long.
No, it was like a handful of times.
Yeah. Like maybe a month and a half. And then Kaleb was just having fun, like dating. Yeah. And then shortly after that is when I met my next boyfriend. And then we just had our own things going on. But we definitely weren't thinking to ourselves like, when are we going to get back together? It was it was your job is to move on after the breakup. And then if it's meant to be, it'll happen. Yeah. Yeah. So
some things just have to fall into place, you know.
Totally.
Love is like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably crap.
Oh gosh. Oh no. You've been waiting. You've been waiting to use that one for this video. Yeah. As soon as I said breakups, you were like,
I've
got the advice. Boy, do I have some advice.
I've been holding on
to one. Let's see. What other breakup stories do you have that are maybe not quite
I cried for months.
Cried for years. I was completely shattered as a person and broken.
Yeah. Yep. Still recovering. You know, I had good breakups. I had bad breakups. When I was young, I just didn't know what love was. And so I was the one that was breaking up constantly. Yeah. I was the heartbreaker. I was like, this is fun. Actually, I'm not having fun. We're done. And I was kind of brutal, like growing up. And it took a while to find what love meant and connection to another person. And before I was the one getting heartbroken, you know, and it's two different spectrums, you know, and getting broken up with, honestly, looking back, it's all been a good thing. If they broke up for a reason, then I believe in that reason, and I wouldn't want to go back to any of my exes.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a few that I don't love.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of love for most of them.
Yeah.
And I enjoy them as people still. You know? But you move on.
Totally.
You live and let live.
God bless the broken road.
Yeah, amen.
Who led me straight to you. Something that you were talking about when you were like saying you were brutal about your breakups is
I'd spit on their shoes. No, it was like a text. Yeah. It was like childish. It was we're done. Or I don't know. I was always nice, but it's not how an adult should be.
Right.
And granted, I wasn't an adult.
Yeah. We were still growing up, but
I'm talking high school. 18 years old. Yeah.
So I had a group of friends. This seems like it's not related, but it is, I promise. I had a group of friends that on birthdays, we used to go in a circle, and I've told Kaleb this before. We used to go in a circle and tell each other something that we liked about the person and something that they could work on their birthday. It was like the worst idea ever.
How to lose your friends.
We did it for everybody's birthday, which cracks me up still every time I think about it. But Brutus.
I know, they probably can hear him crying. Maybe he needs to be let out. I think he's just jealous.
Oh, is he? So, I wonder how much they can hear it.
Hopefully all of it.
All right. So I had this group of friends. that had that terrible tradition. One year, so the last year we did it was my birthday. And it's because people got kind of brutal. And apparently some of the girls, so I had dated two of the girls in the group, and it didn't work out for obvious reasons. I had to break up with them because I had been trying to like force it to work, and it wasn't because I was gay. And these girls had talked to another one of my friends, and they were like, for the birthday circle, we need you to bring up how he needs to work on like breaking up with people because he's terrible at it. Yeah. and they might have been. I honestly, it's hard because like, how are you supposed to do it in a way that's not going to hurt someone's feelings?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's always going to.
It always feels cold.
It's always going to sting.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like I broke up with them over text or like I did it like when I felt it was right in person, but and who knows? Honestly, I can't remember most of my life, so I have a terrible memory. So I might have been. I don't remember being super rude, but yeah, I think it was just...
It's just not good news to hear.
Yeah, it's just hard.
Someone could give you a bill for $1,000 and be like the nicest kind of voice, but I'm not happy about it. You know?
All the best for you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this first payment.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to be happy about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like knowing that, or after that birthday circle... It is hard not to be mad at somebody after a breakup, but I do feel like it gave me the ability to be sympathetic in some ways a little bit for somebody that has to break up with me, just because there isn't like a right way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean...
There's better ways than others, for sure.
Yes.
But there's no foolproof way that's going to be great.
Yeah, you got to rip off the Band-Aid somehow.
Yeah. When do you know it's time to break up with somebody?
When I've known is when I just don't feel the same, you know? When you start a relationship, you have all the feels, and then, you know, you have a little butterfly phase or whatever you want to call it. And then when the dust settles, it's like, how do I still feel? And that was usually my indicator, is like, oh, I don't feel romantic anymore, you know? And that kind of faded for me. But and I know that was accurate because I met you, And here we are.
Yeah.
3.5 years since we've been talking consistently. Yeah. And that's never faded for me, you know. Yeah. So I think that it's something you'll just know or feel.
And your longest relationship before this was like, I mean, it wasn't even an official relationship, but it was like kind of.
It was a hostage situation. For me, I was the hostage.
It was like on and off for like 9 months or something.
Yeah, probably a year. Yeah, and it wasn't healthy from the get-go. And like you said, I wouldn't even consider it a relationship. It was living in the same quarters. Yeah.
Should we put Brutus on the table so they can see him?
We can try to put him on the seat.
I don't know if they'll be able to see him from the seat. We should just have him sit on the table for just a second so they can see his beautiful face.
Look at that big guy.
Do you guys remember Brutus?
This is our blood child.
Our blood child?
Yeah. We got a surrogate and we got him.
Yeah. Caleb's the father.
I'm the father.
Genetically.
That's where all the hair comes from.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember. His name is Brutus. Mm-hmm. He's got one eye. He's a little chunky. And he's a little old.
He's fat and sassy.
He sure is. And also, every time he gets the haircut, I forget how fat he is.
I know.
He's like,
he's got
these little chicken legs and then this big old booty. Brutus.
He's like a boat on stilts.
Don't lick me though. Not on the face.
Okay, turn around.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, there you go. Sit down.
Good there you go. I don't know if they'll... Oh, maybe they'll see him from here.
There you go. Lay down. Lay down, bud.
We can put it back down. He probably doesn't. It's not very cozy to lay down on hardwood.
All right.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about when you know it's time to break up.
Yeah.
So... one indication for me when I've known it's time to break up is when I just could not see a future with the person.
Yeah.
And like if you have different life goals, that can be super detrimental on a relationship. Planning for a future is what helps you stay together. And if you just don't see that future, then something to think about. And definitely something to like have a conversation with the person that you're dating. Obviously, you don't want to compromise on like your goals and aspirations in life. You know what I mean? But if you're able to come to like some sort of consensus on some way you can both have the best fulfilling life together, then all the better. But if you can't, then maybe it's time.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point because all my exes I couldn't see a future with. Yeah, I don't have that what if because I never saw it, you know. Yeah. Still looking for it.
On the search. If you guys know anybody. Anyone.
Anyone.
I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else you want to share about breakups?
No, I don't think so. They're not very fun.
No. Would not recommend.
Would not. Unless you should.
Then I do recommend.
Then do it.
All right.
I think this has been very helpful.
People now know what to do for sure.
Yeah.
And also, like I was saying earlier, these are just based off of our own personal experiences. It's so different for everybody.
Yeah.
But breakups are so hard. And I feel like the most important thing is just to remember that like time is gonna help so much.
And keep that circle of friends and loved ones near.
And even though...
And stay away from your ex.
And just so you know, not that it's important, but like plenty of people will love you still after your breakup. I do think it's important to focus on yourself and just having a happy, fulfilling life on your own. But if you wanted a relationship in the future, sometimes I think we self-sabotage after relationships where we're like, we're never going to find somebody. It's never going to work out.
I'm deleting every dating app forever.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's obviously not true. There's plenty of people in the world that would love you. So if that's something that you want in your future, just know it's an option. But also don't focus on that. Focus on being happy on your own, you know?
Yep.
So, all right. That's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And Caleb, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Join us on our next little podcast episode.
Yeah.
We're probably going to talk about, we have a few different things in mind.
Yeah.
I have been enjoying reading all the comments on my last video and feeling all the love and support again that I missed so much the past year. So thank you guys. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon. Thanks. Soon. Bye.